You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you. All right. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, right? People forget how fast time flies. So if you're younger, I'm in my 40s. You've heard people tell you that, you wake up one day and it's just like 10 years that went by, and 15 years that went by, and 20 years that went by. And a lot of us don't really, when we're younger, we don't hear that. But I'm here to tell you that that's very much so true. But I'm gonna say it this way. When you're unproductive, time really, it flies very slowly. Because when you're productive, time flies. But you do so much, that's why time flies. Like when you're productive, time flies because you do so much. And you can turn around and look back and you go, man, it was all a blur because you did so many things. In a year's time, and 5 years' time, and 10 years' time, you can look back and it's all a blur because you went from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Maybe you were achieving goals. But if you were BSing, it moves fast, but it's slow because now you have no memories of doing anything productive, or you have very few memories of doing something productive. Remember that one time. So then it becomes what did I do with that last year, that last 5 years, that last 10 years? You can't find anything of value. And people forget that. I've been around people in life where you got people who forgot they did so much, and you have people who are trying to remember doing anything. And I would say it's better to be the person who forgot they did so much. But the same thing that goes physically. Time flies. Like, you feel the same. I don't physically feel any different than I did when I was in my teens and early 20s and mid 20s and late 20s and early 30s and mid 30s. I really don't feel any different. But times definitely change. I'm not about to go out here and run a 100-yard dash. I can tell you that right now. I ain't gonna get sub 11. Because I haven't ran in a while like that. But if I practice, yeah, I do it. But here's the thing. I've noticed over the years how, when we talk about people and people hitting the wall, a lot of this stuff, or people falling off, a lot of this stuff has to deal with the fact that people don't realize how quickly last year, this year can be last year. Like that happens just like that. I remember last year, I was like, I saw the calendar and I was like, Juneteenth is going to be a federal holiday. Wow, we're going to see how that works out in June. Well, Juneteenth is about to be here. So, or when this comes out, it's probably here on that day. So that was months ago, but it was just like that. And I think one of the problems is a lot of us don't respect time. Like, when people say the time is now, that's what they mean is now. You got to put your all in now and build the momentum up of putting your all into right now. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't put the energy into right now. We put the energy into, I'm going to do it later. Not realizing I'm going to do it later adds up, just like I'm going to do it right now adds up. And it's a lot of compound interest both ways. But when you procrastinate, you have nothing to be proud of. Like a lot of times people who wasted a lot of time have a lot of regrets because they have no significant reason to be proud of anything. None whatsoever. And I watched these things happen over and over and over again, and I've watched people live and people die, and people have to be in a life or death situation to actually start living, or realize, man, I didn't, I could have done so much more, because I've seen a lot of people waste their life and lifetime, partying and chasing sex and doing drugs. It might seem fun at the time, but when you're on the end of your life and you realize that's what you put your focus on, it doesn't have the same fun thing to it. It's like, wait, because a lot of us don't think we can waste our lifetime. And there's a lot of people who do, because time flies. People forget it just flies. This is not a video game. You're not going to get a do-over. And even if you got a do-over in reincarnation, you wouldn't remember where you effed up in the first place. So people just forget how fast it flies, because, man, I could just literally 25 years ago, I was in high school. And for me, that was just yesterday. It's the reality, but take what you will from that. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch you on the next one. Peace.